Welcome back. There is no doubt that the pandemic has opened our eyes to the needs of others, especially when it comes to the unhoused. Even before the pandemic, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, in January 2020, there were about 580,466 people unhoused in America. 70% were individuals, 30% were people living in families. Men are more likely to be unhoused. Out of every 10,000 men, 22 are unhoused. And for women and girls, that number is 13. A new film called I'm Fine, Thanks for Asking is hoping to shine light on this issue. Here's a sneak peek of the trailer.
This is just a little girl. I don't want her to know this stuff.
I can get you the rest soon. I really need this place.
I'm sorry, Danny. It's not enough.
The film follows a mother and daughter who suddenly became homeless. She somehow convinces the young girl that they're just camping for fun as she works to get them off the streets. Joining me now to talk about this wonderful film, it's called I'm Fine, Thanks for Asking, is the director, writer, and actress, Kelley Kali. Kelley, thank you so much for joining me on Black News tonight. How did the idea for this film come about?
So thanks for having me, Mark. The idea originally came in the middle of the pandemic, July 2020. We had been on lockdown for so long after being told that it would be lifted in April, then May, then June. And I woke up with this pressing feeling that I needed to make something. I needed to create. So I called my good friends Angelique Molina, who's my co-director, Roma Kong, who's producer on it, and Dion Cole, who's my writing partner, and Capella Fahum. And together we discussed what were the pressing issues of today. And I happened to be driving to get a COVID test while we were thinking of what concepts. And I saw this beautiful Black woman, so well put together. You would never guess a thing. And she was wheeling her luggage, and she was stopping to drag a chain link fence under the freeway overpass to block her in to keep her safe for the night. And I could tell that that was her first night on the streets. So we all discussed addressing these issues. We were seeing more women on the streets. Los Angeles has a huge homeless population. And so we decided to look into this matter and tell a story.
You talk about Dion Cole working on the project. You know, for a lot of people, he's the consummate comedic writer and actor.
Yeah.
How did you two connect in the first place, and why did this project make sense for you two?
So my thesis film out of USC won a Student Academy Award and was in consideration for the Academy Award, which then qualified me to be in consideration for this director's shadowing program at Netflix, which I got. And that's how I met Dion, because it was on a movie that he was shooting in New York. And he started powwowing and telling me about this concept that he had for this movie. And I said, I started breaking down the story structure. And he's like, you want to write this together? And we did. And we finished it. And that project's with Macro now. And so ever since then, we just have been working together.
Wow. What's a collaborative process like? You know, when you write a project by yourself, you can think of an idea, you can change an idea, but whatever your vision is, it gets executed ultimately. When you write with somebody else, you got to make compromises sometimes. What do you see as the pros and cons of this kind of process?
In my experience, it's better. I feel like when you're alone, you need someone to bounce ideas off. And when you have a writing partner, sure, sometimes you don't always see eye to eye or agree on whatever the character choices are. But oftentimes you come to a better idea because both of you have one idea and the other has another, and then you compromise and it becomes better. It was like that working with Angelique and Roma. It's like that working with Dion. I just think I've been blessed with very talented, humble, gracious people to work with, and Dion is one of those types of writers.
Now, you all produced the film during the pandemic.
Yeah,
that's a whole different kind of production. What was it like? What were the challenges of that kind of experience?
Whew. It was hard. Well, you know what? The film is what it is now due to those challenges. So we had discussed, do the characters wear masks? Well, we knew that we were guerrillaing a lot of shots, so we might catch people in the background with masks on. So we can't really ignore that we're shooting in the middle of a pandemic. So we embraced it, but we
Right.
never ever talked about the pandemic in the movie. We just talked about the problem that the character is going through to protect her daughter's innocence from the truth of being houseless. And so also, we ended up having to act in it because we couldn't cast. It was not safe to bring in other people outside of our circle. So that's why Dion jumped in and helped us out. I had to do those roles. And then there's other parts where my co-director and producers are in it. We all had to pitch in and make it happen. And it worked out. I mean, we ended up premiering at South by Southwest Film Festival and winning at South by Southwest. And it just goes to show that challenging circumstances, if you push through, can lead to really good things.
What do you hope this film will do in terms of its impact? Not just the artistic impact. It's a great film. It will resonate with people. People will love it. The acting is strong. The writing is strong. It's shot beautifully. But there's a deeper purpose and project at play here that I want you to talk about a little bit. What do you hope the film will do? What do you hope people will get from it?
So when we first made this film, when we were talking about the issue of houselessness, we knew that there was a problem, but we didn't foresee this greater problem that's happening right now with the eviction moratorium and all the debates centered around that, because people still aren't fine. People still aren't better. And those moratoriums kept a lot of people off the streets. I know that we were out of work for a while, and just if it wasn't for the moratorium, who knows where anyone would have ended up. You could end up on a family member's couch, in your car, heaven forbid in a tent. But these types of political debates that are going on right now, with the moratorium being extended into October, but people still concerned that that's not long enough, certain states trying to reject the moratorium's extension. This film really speaks to the humanity, because we're looking at it financially, and I get that, because we have to function financially. Landlords need to be able to get their money to sustain. I get all of it. But I think that in these circumstances, we do have to look at the humans, the people, what they're going through. And I feel that this film puts a face on those who are currently houseless and homeless, and those who can become houseless and homeless.
And that's why this project is so necessary and so beautiful, because it gets at the human element, what it means to be unhoused, what it means to be living on the margins of society, but also to be in plain view. Everyone sees the unhoused, everyone sees the so-called homeless, and yet we walk by, we say nothing. And then there's, of course, the piece that you raise, which is, it's this idea of also shame and dignity and wanting to preserve something for oneself. It's beautiful. You know, everybody. I don't want to spoil it, so everybody, make sure you watch this film. It is called "I'm Fine." Thanks for asking, Kelley. Thank you for coming on the show. We will absolutely have you back. And everybody, you can catch this on BET Her.